So today's the 8th of May 2024. Pretty decent day, apart from me getting triggered about 10-20 minutes ago, but I'll go through it. So started off with my call with my mentor. It was a really good call. We ended up talking for fucking 2 hours, and we get on really well. And it was a really nice call. And yeah, it was just nice. We were talking, like, he helped me with my emails. He helped me with all different agency stuff. Just general chat about the whole journey and his journey. It was nice to hear a bit about how he's done it. But yeah, no, it was a really, really nice chat, and we really get on. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So that was all my morning gone pretty much by the time we jumped on that. Then I had a call with one of my clients, and she closed another deal, which is amazing. So she's made 20 grand since we started, which is so 6K this month, 8K, 8.5K last month, and the first month 6.25K, and that equals 20,600 roughly. I haven't given the exact numbers, but roughly. So that's amazing. She's over the moon. So now I know the power of this. I just got to keep pushing with it essentially. But yeah, she was really happy. She's also given me another referral, which hopefully I should have a call with soon, which is amazing. And I've also got a referral sales call tomorrow as well, which should also be amazing. So yeah, overall, really, really positive. Now, the thing that triggered me was I had a sale. So if anyone's in SMMA, you'll know this guy called Matt Shields. He's really big. He does a real estate agency in USA, and I follow him on Instagram. And he done a post about he's got an inner circle thing, and he's got an inner circle, and he does it, and he's got some slots opening up. And obviously, I know it's all a sales thing, but I thought, let me check it out. It might be good to have like a bit more of a community sort of mentoring as well, to start connecting with people. Anyway, so I had a discovery call yesterday over the phone, and again, it was okay. It was all right. It was like a bit. I could feel it was very like overly salesy, which I fucking hate. But anyway, I still done it, and I had the main call today. So we jump on, some kid probably a little my age, maybe a little bit younger, and he fucking triggered me so much. Literally, got on the call and he was like, "Oh, hi, how's it going?" I was like, "Yeah, good, or whatever." He's like, "Oh, how did your call go yesterday?" I was like, "Yeah, it was only quick, but yeah, it was good." He was like, "What did you cover?" I just said, "Oh, just told him a bit about my current situation." And then, yeah, just went over a bit of my situation, and that was it really. He said to book this call to find out more about it. I was like, "Oh, what exactly did you go over?" And I was like, my situation, where I'm at with my agency. And he was like, kept asking me the same question. I was like, and I started getting annoyed. Then I think he realised. He was like, "Oh, well, I've got some notes here. It says you're doing this, is that, and that." I was like, "Yep." And he was like, "How's that going?" And all this. He was asking me questions. I was telling him. And then it was really weird. He was asking me like what I'm doing for outreach, and I said, "Oh, emails at the moment." I said, "I've literally just started to step it up, bought loads of domains, so I'm ready to really start pushing that." He said, "Oh, why have you been sending so little?" And I explained it to him. I was like, "Well, look, I switched. I was learning the service. I was building up my knowledge. So I was like, there's no point pushing it if I can't do the service, all of this stuff." And he was like, "Yeah, but why so little?" I just told you, mate." And he was like, and it started coming across like a bit of passive aggressive. Then he was trying to teach me sales on the sales call. So he was going, what was he saying? He was like, "Oh, tell me about your sales process." Because he was like, "What's your guarantee? What's your offer?" And I said, "I don't as such have a crazy offer." I said, "The way I do it, I have a value-based system. So essentially I lead with value. I lead with a free audit and my VSL, which is a training. And if they like that, I get them to book in a call." He's like, "Oh, how's that going?" I said, "Yeah, it's been pretty good, the conversion rate." And he was like, "Well, tell me your sales process." I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "Well, tell me how your calls go." I was like, "What, after I've booked them in and stuff?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah." So I was telling him, I was like, "Yeah, so little tiny bit of small talk just to welcome them, frame the call, and then go into discovery. Then he was like, "Oh, tell me how you frame the call." I was like, "What?" And it was like a test, and I was like, "Well, I just say thank you for your time." And then he went, pause right there, and I was like, "What?" He was like, "Never ever." He was an American fucking kid. He was like, "Never ever ever say thank you for your time." He said, "You know how bad that is." He said, "You are the authority. They're coming to speak to you. Don't ever say thank you." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Mate," I said, "Okay." So I get what you're saying, but I said at the same time, like, it's just respectful. Just say thank you for taking some time today. Like, it's not a big deal. I was like, "Okay, whatever." Then I told him how I framed the call. Then he was like, "Yeah, that's actually quite good." I was like, "Okay, that's all right." Then he said, "When you say small talk, what do you mean?" Now I realised what he was trying to do here. He was trying to just teach me everything or what he thought I didn't know. And I said, "Well, I don't," and he was like, because he was about to start schooling me on small talk, saying it doesn't build rapport, which I know. And I cut him off, and I was like, "Look," I said, when I say when I say small talk, literally 30 seconds, welcoming them, asking how their day's been, tiny bit, because I said that doesn't build rapport." He was like, "Oh, great, I'm really glad you know that." He said, "A lot of people make that mistake, all this shit." Then he went back to the email shit, and he was like, "Oh, why haven't you been pushing for more?" I said I was learning my service again. Then he was like, "Well, you can't really learn your service in that." I said, "Well, I did learn my service, so what are you talking about?" And he was starting to come across aggressive to me, like, "Oh, you're not doing this, that's wrong, you don't know this, you don't know that, blah, 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 blah," all of this shit. So so I'm trying to think what he said next. Then he was saying, like, "Oh, well, I speak to agency owners who are at 0 and who are at 400k a month, and the ones at 400, all they're focused on is acquisition." He said, "You need data. You can't learn your service off a few clients." I said, "Well, I've learned it. I know the basics of it enough to push it." And he was like, "No, you need data." I was like, "Mate, I've learned it. What else do you want me to say?" I said, "I've learned it, and that's why I'm pushing now with the emails." Then it was just going in a loop, and I didn't understand the point of the call because first of all, he was talking about rapport. There was no fucking rapport because he was just annoying me because he was telling me everything I'm doing wrong, challenging me. And the things he was telling me I was doing wrong, they're not wrong. They work, and I've got money in the bank to prove it. So, okay, yeah, he's right in the fact I need to push it more. But I told him I'm scaling it now slowly. All of this stuff, and I hate calls like that because they're so salesy, they're so pushy, it's so forced. And by the end of it, I was just triggered because I was like, I didn't even finish the call. My dinner was ready halfway through. I was like, "Oh, mate, I've got to go get my food." I was like, "Oh, what did I say?" No, I said, "Oh, I've got to get the door." And then I went and got the door to get the food. And then he was like, I come back and I got downstairs. I was like, "No, I'm not sitting here getting lectured by this guy." I said, "I don't care who the fuck he works for." I said, "I don't know this cunt. To then tell me you're doing this is wrong, telling me to time out, fuck off." So I come upstairs. I was like, "Look, mate, I've got to go now. Something's come up." He's like, "Oh, what's happened?" I said, "Don't worry, I've got to go." And I said, "If you want to reschedule, get in touch." I said, "If not, I'm not that fast. See you later," and just ended it. And yeah. And that was that pretty much. But I hate that so much. Like, it's such a salesy technique, like so pushy, so passive aggressive, like looking down on you. And I think it was because I said I was at 4k a month. He's like, "Oh, why only 4?" Well, because I'm still fucking learning, you idiot. That's how it goes. But the problem is these geezers have never had an agency before, a lot of them, or they don't know what they're doing. They've just been hired as a closer. I think they're the bollocks because they work for this guy and they just like look down on you. So it was one of the worst. Again, one of the other call before I had was worse. But yeah, essentially, why I'm telling you this, if you're doing any types of sales, never ever fucking do the calls like that, like looking down on people. And you could tell he didn't care about me. You could tell he was just there to get my money and tell me why I'm wrong and why their thing's going to solve that. And that's wrong. And that's the worst type of sales. And now I realise why people connect with me and get on with me so well on the calls, and why when I qualify, why my close rate has been so high, because people can see I care, people can see I've made an effort, and I come across genuine. And everyone has said you're nicer. There's nothing worse than sales like that, because you can see straight through it. You're just there for the cash. Obviously, he's a closer, he probably gets a commission, so of course he's there for the cash, but you I'm there for the cash. I need money, but I adopt the mindset that I'm trying to help them. And yeah, just never do that. And I was saying to my mum, like, when I get big, I said, I don't want that. So, because that's not me, that's not why I'm doing this. That doesn't align with me as a person. And she was saying, like, because obviously my dad runs big businesses in London, hotels, like massive hotels. She was saying, like, when he goes in, he changes the culture, and the people learn to act how he has and adopt his values. So I guess that's the one learning that I'll then have to do. But yeah, it was a horrible call, and I just walked off annoyed. And like, even after 10 minutes, I thought, I'm never going to buy from you, even if it's the best thing in the world, because you've annoyed me. You're just there. What they're trying to do, I think, is like make you realise you're not good, not really make you realise you're not good enough. So then you want the thing that's going to solve it. Now, I'm sure that works for some people, and it clearly does work because they do well for themselves. But for me, that just annoys me, and I'm sure a lot of other people that, and I think you can do that in a better way as well. Like, there's a way to deliver that news, there's a way to give them advice. But I went on that call expecting to be sold to, and instead I was being lectured. So I didn't really understand. Maybe there's something I'm missing, I don't know. But for me, that is horrible, and that's not how I like to sell. And I don't think anyone does, really. It's just not a nice way to be sold to and be treated like a fucking, yeah, it's just not nice. But yeah, so that's the update for today, essentially. Nothing crazy, just that. But yeah, so you just got to start pushing this now. And like I said, with my sessions with my mentor, now our focus is all about getting this outreach going, getting these systems. So he's given me an email script to try out. So that should be interesting. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to pushing this and growing this now, and not fucking doing it like that, but yeah, getting there slowly, step by step. And I was also thinking about sort of putting it into more of a course format, having video content, having stuff set up so they can work through it before our course. So parts of it are already done, and all of this little bit. So yeah, it's good getting there slowly. Cool.